let's take a look at some reserve list artifacts that you can afford. Hi everyone and welcome back. MTG Moxman here. If you're new to my channel and you've just found me in the nacho cheese universe of YouTube, well, thanks a lot for checking out this content today. I hope you had a good time while you were here. And of course, if you did, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. Join in the fun. It's free to join this channel. Doesn't cost you a thing. And it does help support the channel each and every day. Turn on your notification bells and you will never miss my content as I upload new stuff each and every day. Looking forward to seeing your comments in those comment sections. And don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and a like. You know, we like to have that kind of stuff out there. So guys, reserve list artifacts. Always had a fondness for them. Always enjoyed them. The one thing I always really just loved about artifacts in general, the originals, is they could fit into any deck. It didn't matter if I was building a merfolk deck, a goblin deck, it didn't matter. There was always room to put some of the older school artifacts, reserve list artifacts, into those decks. Even ones we consider useless today, you could put them in there to have some effect. You could put Moxes in if you wanted to. You could put an Icy Manipulator in there. There was amazing effects you could do. What deck doesn't enjoy having a force field, right? Or an Illusionary Mask to hide your creatures behind it. I know they kind of powered that card down, but it was still an amazing card for its time. And when you look forward now and you see overall reserve list sales are strong, but the prices are falling down as people seek some liquidity and are trying to lock in some profit, it's a race to the bottom for a lot of these cards, which is allowing people out there to have the opportunity, if they want, to go out and pick up some cards and save a few bucks if they so desire. Remember guys, purely entertainment purposes channel only, not a financial advisor. Please manage your money well and be safe out there. Never hurt friends and family. Remember that. Family comes first. Keep your money safe. Always put a few bucks aside for a rainy day. Make sure you're investing in strong, again, non-financial advice. See where I'm going with this? I just hoard cardboard in the background and I love talking about Magic with you guys. So that is one of the things I've always enjoyed about reserve list artifacts and artifacts in general. I think Wizards has gotten away from artifacts being truly powerful and unique things that they used to be and have kind of brought them down to more kind of like, it's a piece of equipment I throw in a creature. You see what I'm saying? It just doesn't do what it used to do. It doesn't have that feel that the Candelabra of Tawnos would bring to a battlefield. When you're like, what's he going to do with all that extra land flipping ability? It just doesn't have that same desired effect when you see a Chaos Orb hit the board. Moxes, Lotus, you know something's going down and you were scared. A Force Field, Time Vault. There's amazing artifacts out there. But a lot of those cards are really super high priced. But when you're looking for cards and you're looking for a deal, they do appear sometimes. You just have to look in the right place. So I've assembled some prices here on some reserve list artifacts that have overall been falling in price, which may make them attractive to certain people. So let's go ahead, take a look at some awesome cards today, have that discussion where we think these things are going, and I'm looking forward to seeing those comments in the comments section. Guys, let's get to it. The first card I want to share with you all today is Metalworker from Urza's Destiny. Now this is a 3 casting cost artifact creature. It's old school, sure, it's a 1/2, it isn't a powerhouse unto itself, but its ability to tap itself, reveal any number of artifact cards in your hand, and you get 2 mana, 2 colorless mana for each artifact you reveal. Think about the combinations you can do with that card. It's insane. And it doesn't have a mana cost to use the ability, which is just amazing for back in the day. I mean, you usually have to pay 2 mana, 4 mana to make an effect happen nowadays. This card, you literally just tap it. Show some artifacts, get some free mana. Amazing. And this card has good formats. We're talking Commander, Legacy, Vintage. Commander being the #1. You've got to be able to play this kind of card in Commander to keep the values higher. Because, let's face it, the more formats a card can be played in, the more diversified the card will be, which means more value it'll possibly have in the future. And the price, I mean, Rudy did that video showing that big stack of Metalworkers he picked up. It barely moved the bar. It moved up a few bucks. And it's kind of been falling ever since. This card comes in at $160 Canadian for a moderately played copy locally. The average price is $167.99. The market price is $161.15. Now, this is the first set to have foils, so you're looking at $1,076 US for a foil copy of this card. And it's €99.11 to get this card into your house. The sales have been slow on this card. And if you look on TCG Player, you can find lightly played copies for around the $125 mark, $121 I think. And of course, if you're going to buy something, don't forget to use my TCG affiliate link found in the description of these videos. But it just seems like a card like this should be higher. It probably will go higher at some point. And it can be played in Commander still, which means it hasn't been banned in that format, giving it some diversification from other decks you may be playing with. I just got to say, it seems to have a lot of checks and balances in it that means it's going to go somewhere in the future, in my opinion. So I'll be curious to see what happens with a card like this going forward. It's very interesting. Now, our next card I'm going to share with you guys today is Cyclops Tomb, and this is an unlimited edition one because they're the cheapest ones to get right now. I don't want to mess too much with the beta or alpha. I did put the collector edition price on here as well, just so you can see the difference. But when you're looking at beta and alpha edition, you are talking a premium. They're much older formats. It's just hard to come by. All right. And let's face it, this whiteboard edition is the only one it was ever printed in, because collector edition, beta, and alpha are all in black border. So Cyclops Tomb, when you look at this card, it's a 4 casting cost artifact. I get that. But its ability to turn lands into swamps, and depending on how you build your deck, just means it can be brutal on certain people. There are ways of copying this artifact. You can get a copy artifact spell, mirror mate. There's ways of duplicating it. You can have a lot of fun with a card like this in the right type of build. And of course, the formats, Commander, Legacy, Old School, Vintage, we've got some ability and diversification of this card as well. The artwork I've always enjoyed. It looks creepy to me. And when I look at that price and I say, okay, this is an unlimited card. We're talking 28 years ago. It's $260 Canadian for a moderately played copy. You have an average price of $237.94. The market price is $300 US. €182.98 to get that card into your house. And a collector edition, if you need to get one, I remember telling people to buy these when they were 40 bucks. But right now they're sitting at $120 Canadian for a collector edition, international edition. Guys, this card again has a lot of makings of what people like, but it will seem slow to play. I can see somebody putting this in a commander deck just for like a janky fun. It's not going to be the killer combo card, but it is a reserve list artifact that's not coming around. The price has dipped down again the last little while with sales slowing down, making it a possible target for people who desire cards like this or who are trying to finish off collections or build up a play set of 4. Just something to keep in mind. If the price continues to fall, if it goes below 200 bucks, that is a good deal. All right, because I mean the history of the card tells you everything. Let's go ahead and take a look at our next card today, and that is going to be Illusionary Mask. Now, I love this card. I have a good, it gives me a good warm feeling in the tummy. It's a card I used to play with all the time. And the way the card used to work is you would, because we didn't have Morph back then. So you would cast your Illusionary Mask for 2. And whenever you cast a card, you couldn't pay less, but you could pay more. So I would try to put out Ali from Cairo, which means I couldn't really die, which was awesome back in the day. I would put that card out and try to put a Spectral Cloak on top of my Ali, but Ali would be upside down. If they let me get him upside, I could spend 6 mana putting him out, or I could spend as little as 4, which is his actual casting cost. You couldn't pay less, but you could pay more. And then if I put him in upside down, nobody knew what the card was. And then you would go ahead, put the Spectral Cloak on, and just protect him until the other person ran out of cards or until you ran them out of cards. It was amazing fun. And I saw it used in some brutal tournaments with a Merfolk deck. It's vivid in my mind, like forever. And when you look at it and say, okay, nowadays with the Morph thing, it doesn't really work that way. As soon as it takes damage, you got to flip it over and stuff. It's not the same. But it's still an amazing card. And when you're playing in a format like Old School, you're playing by the Old School rules. This card can still be a blast. Now you're looking at this card. Its formats are going to be Commander, Vintage, Legacy, and Old School. So it has some diversification, although it's more of a fun card nowadays. I wouldn't treat this as a serious card you have to buy, because it does have a fairly high price point already. Although the price is falling down, this isn't a card I'm saying scream out and go buy, because I think it has further to fall. I think this guy here should go back down for the next year. It's going to slowly drift back down because it just doesn't have the versatility it used to have, but it still draws some players in for its kooky craziness it used to bring to the table. So you're looking at $350 Canadian for a lightly played copy. And this again is going to be unlimited edition, right? We have an average price of $327.74 US. The market price, though, you see that? $261.36. See, it's already kind of coming down, right? And then we have €133.98 to get that card to your house. So this is not a card I'm going to say go out and dive into it now. It's a card to watch if you're interested. Wait for this card to fall further because I don't think this is the end of it falling. This is not the bottom curve, which I kind of think maybe the Metalworker is at. The Metalworker I don't expect to go that much further, but Illusionary Mask I think is going to slip a little bit further down that road, giving players a chance to get in there. And I mean, I'm talking it should fall another 30%. It just doesn't have the viability it used to have, but it does have that fun factor depending on what format you're playing in. So let's go ahead and take a look at our next card today, and that is going to be Planar Gate, and that is from Legends. Now, I never saw Planar Gate as a kid. I think I saw it like later on, but not when we first opened packs, because we only allowed a couple of packs in my town before they ran out of the one box they had. But lowering the casting cost of anything is good. It is a good card to have around. It is fun, but back in the day when things were a little bit slower, this card, you know, it was okay to have things that took a little time to get out there. But nowadays, you want to be able to like kind of cheat this card onto the battlefield. You're going to have to tinker for it. You have to do something to get that card out there faster. But after it's out, it can really help the game, help your long game out if you can get it onto the battlefield and stop it from being destroyed. Now, when we're looking at it, formats being Commander, Legacy, Vintage, and of course, Old School. For those guys who just want to kick back and have some fun. And the price has been dipping down again. Now, again, this is another card like Illusionary Mask. I think it has further to fall. I don't think this is the bottom of that market, but I'm bringing it to people's attention because it's continuing to fall month after month by $2-3 a month. So it's something to keep an eye out for. The sales are really slow in this card. And if we give this one another 9-10 months, it might be in you have to buy a category. Oh, it's like 60, 70, 80 bucks. Boom, it's a time to grab it because it has been higher than that, right? There are people out there looking for near mint copies for their collections for Legends. So at $160 Canadian for a lightly played copy, seems pretty reasonable. When you see the average price is $144.97 US, the market is $148.63, or it's €96.45 to get that card into your house. But again, I think it's going to fall lower than this. I'm just bringing it out there to say, you know, it's falling. It's not a bad price now, but I think that price is actually going to get better for those who want to get in on this card. Now, our next card today is Azularas Carpet from Legends. Now, this one has a lot more uses tied to it than some of the other cards I've showed you today. This is a 5 casting cost artifact, which may seem pricey even in a Commander format, and it is 5 to use this card, but look what you're getting for your money. When you spend that mana, which is 5, it reduces all damage done to you by non-flying creatures to 0. This is like having a force field on overdrive. It just affects everybody. It's like, oh, you're hitting me with all this stuff? All your stuff's down to 0. That's amazing. And I gotta say, it's the idea of being above the battlefield on that carpet, looking down saying, nah, you ain't gonna touch me. Nobody's touching me right now. I'm flying around, taking a vacation. It's an amazing card to have into a deck. And with the price falling the way it is, it's going to be an attractive target for some people who like to throw in cards that people just aren't used to seeing. If you can pin a creature down with Moat, you make everyone's creatures non-flying, that even makes this card more practical and usable. Remember, diversification and playability matter a lot. Now, formats being Commander, Legacy, Vintage, and Old School, you can see here that the average price is $149.95 US. The market average is $141.72 US. And it's €65.16 to get that card into your house. And locally, it is $160 Canadian for a lightly played copy. This price continues to fall. Even I'm going to grab a copy. I don't have one yet, but I will probably pick one up. If this thing seems to hit around that 140 to 150 mark, I like to save every penny I can. And this one, again, the way it's dipping right now, I think it has a little bit further to fall. And I may look for myself maybe a moderately played copy and save a few bucks. But I can just see having this and adding it into a few decks and move it around if I have to. It's going to be a lot of fun. I don't use this card right now because I don't have a copy. But I can see myself putting this into an anti-creature deck. I mean, with Pendril Mists and stuff, throwing a force field, throwing cards that pin the creatures down, it's going to be a lot of fun. Just mill people out. I like the idea of a deck. I'm thinking in my head right now. So that brings me to our last card today, and that is going to be Stone Calendar, and that's from the Dark. Now, the Dark as a set has been undervalued for a very long time, and a very bright spotlight came on early in 2022, and it just shined down on this set, and people bought a lot of cards. A lot of things disappeared. It started with the Fallen, it went to the Nameless Race, to the Frankenstein's Monsters, but Stone Calendar has been bought out in the past. This isn't its first time around the merry-go-round. It's gone up and down a lot of times. And I'm not putting the card on here today because I think this is the prime time to buy it. This is a reminder of what can happen. Before you go out and buy any Magic card, is it a card you actually want? Because I don't just buy cards hoping to flip them later. I'm buying cards I desire and want to add to my collections, or hopefully build a deck with someday and have some janky, crazy fun when people don't expect it. This is one of those cards that can be a little bit useful in a deck. It's $5 to get out. It lowers casting costs. That's great. But right now, at $50 Canadian for a lightly played copy, and I see an average of $34.97 US. The market price of $30.63 US. And then €34.84 to get you that card. Okay, it seems kind of, those prices seem a lot better than the Canadian one, but these are still around $40 Canadian. I think this card will calm down and sink a little bit further in price. So if it's a card you're after, I would say wait for it. And if you can wait, look for the near mint copies. Any of these cards, if you can afford them and hold on, look for a near mint copy if you're even thinking about selling it later on. If it's a card for your collection, you want to play with it and put it in a deck, really what does it matter as long as it's real, it sits flat, and it's not damaged, right? When you look at the formats here, Commander, Legacy, Vintage, Old School, it checks off a lot of the boxes for its ability to be played in a lot of sets. But, that format that it plays in is not everything. I just feel this card is one of those cards, yes, it's had buyouts, yes, it's been fun, but you got to wait for it to sink back down, because this is one of those cards that's having a hard time with the price sticking to where people want it to be. So that means other people can sit back, let this one calm down, let the inflammation settle, let other people put ice on the wound, and then as some copies come to market at a lower price, and if you're somebody looking for this card to finish off a set of the Dark, I think you can hang in there, wait another 9 months and see where this card goes. I don't see it jumping up and staging a massive comeback right now. So, I just want to make sure people are aware of it. Not every card here has to be bought now. Timing is everything, but you'll decide when the timing is right for any card you decide to buy in Magic. So many amazing artifacts, and there's just not enough time. I wish I could put more up, but I can only put up the ones that seem like they're falling in price enough to make it worthwhile. I will be keeping track of more of these cards for you. If more cool artifacts come up, I will, of course, put a video together for you guys. But right now, it seems like a lot of stuff was leveled out. So this is probably the last video in this area for a little while until I can track more information, see how the sales are going for artifacts on the reserve list. So I really hope everyone enjoyed the video today. I'm looking forward to reading your comments in the comments section. If you think I've missed some cool artifact, go ahead, shoot me an email. I'd like to know it because, hey, we always like to learn things each and every day. Don't forget to bring a friend to Magic. And of course, don't forget to bring me some nachos and cheese, because it is a day to have nachos and cheese. Shop smart, shop S-Mart. Looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Have an awesome day today. And of course, an amazing shout out goes out to each and every patron on the channel, because patrons make the world go round. They support this channel and allow me to bring this awesome content to everyone every single day of the week. Thanks again, guys. Looking forward to seeing you Sunday on the live stream. Hey, you made it to the end of the video. Congratulations. Now get serious, guys. Pick up the popcorn, pick up the mess, make sure things are clean, or no boomstick for you. Look around the room. You know you're in a mess right now. Clean it up. Yeah, I'll clean mine too. Okay. We're all fair. We're all going to clean up so we can say boomstick. See you guys tomorrow.